What's up, y'all? Hey, man. I told you was back. Hey, what I tell you? This is a Road to 2K subs if you're new to the channel. My name is Rashad Milligan. I'm here with my wonderful, wonderful co-hosts and guests. You already know them by now. UConn fan, Joel, and then South Carolina fan, Terrell, a.k.a. Ashy Knuckles. Fellas, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing all right, Joe. Well, damn, Joe, I'm calling you Joe. I'm messing up already. I'm doing all right, Rashad. Everything's cool.
When you're famous, they always say your name. I'm doing well.
All right. Well, it's been a long time since we had both of y'all on the channel. I know. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'm gonna keep it a beam with the comment section and the viewers and the subscribers. This surprised me that this even going on right now. Like, this surprised me. So anyways,
why would it surprise you?
I thought it was gonna be something that happened during the season. And then also what you said in the last video, Joel, at the end, but you also said I ain't say no names. So you did say I ain't saying no names, but
and that still applies. But I mean, I did feel like the video that you sent was a worthy video to comment on, because I mean, it did have Paige was in it, so
yeah. So you guys saw the title. Let's get into it. Shout out to Sports Streams Network. Obviously people have asked me about him and comment on him, and he has like kind of like you could say controversial opinions and stuff that I don't necessarily always agree with. But like I said, man, I'm not rooting against the man. I'm not rooting against anyone black trying to get it. Hold on, let me minimize the screen. I just wanted to see if you see right here, I'm subscribed, you know what I'm saying? Hey, but anyways, yeah, let's watch it. I appreciate you uploading this video. Brother, please don't take this down on copyright. I don't think you will, because I've reacted to your content before and you didn't take it down. So, all right, let's do it.
We've been practicing for a while, so I'm just super excited to actually play in a game. We have our exhibition next week, and then the week after, we have 2 games. So I'm ready to get going.
Yeah, we returned most of our players, and then we're just trying to get the new guys acclimated into the system. And we had our first night the other night, and we're all just excited to play in front of fans this year.
Sorry, I got to clear my throat. I ain't wanting to go over the video.
Paige, you hit that. I mean, the difference between last year and this year in COVID, unfortunately, we're still going through it somewhat, but you said you had fans, you had first night, which I don't think you had last year. You guys can, I think, have fans at games for the most part, probably more than you had last year. Just what are some of the things you all are excited for this season coming up? That, again, for you tomorrow night, your first exhibition game, or an exhibition game, like going forward, what are you most looking forward to this season coming up?
I think just definitely fans. For me and Kaylin, our only year of college basketball has been with no fans. So to finally get that normal college experience of playing basketball in front of a crowd, either if they're all cheering for you or if they're all cheering against you, I think we're all just excited for that.
Yeah, I would totally agree. It's kind of weird to think that we haven't really played in front of our home fans or opposing fans, no matter where you're going. So I'm mostly excited for that. And then obviously last year, we only played 3 non-conference games, so really getting like a full schedule and kind of that real college basketball feel this year is what I'm excited about.
Yeah, for sure. So the fans too, but also just showing, the fans, just the new players we got, just showing them like what we could bring to the table. I mean, it's my last year, so I mean, just showing everybody what we can do.
I'm gonna pick back up with and say like, yeah, this is my last year, and for us, it's just showing everybody how hard we've been working in the off season, and just getting them as excited as they are for us.
And super excited to have all our fans back in CLA, because I mean last year we weren't able to have even half of our normal fans. So, and just our fan base, they're just super excited to have us all returning, and the incoming freshmen and transfers. So super excited about that.
You mentioned, I mean, I've talked to some of the WNBA players, and some of them, and Liz Cambage is famous for it. She loves being the villain. She gets more excited when fans are booing her and yelling at her and screaming at her than she does, in a sense, when fans cheer for her. Not that she doesn't like fans cheering for her, but there's something about getting booed or yelled at that just brings her game to another level. And I'm curious, I mean, you've all, Caitlin and Paige, you guys played obviously in high school, I'm guessing, against some hostile crowds, so to speak, when you weren't at home. and the other ones I'm sure you played in hostile crowds in your college careers. Does that get you a different level of amped up when you have 10,000?
Question: do y'all think Doug Feinberg knows who Caitlin Clark is?
Oh,
Yeah.
I hope so.
Why would he know who she is?
I'm looking. All right, first two questions, right? Caitlin answers first. Second one is Paige. He follows up with Paige. Hey, Paige, this year's going to be different than last year because y'all going to have fans in the stands. And then Caitlin picks up and says, yeah, we both, didn't have fans in the stands. Second question, he comes up.
I think that's just Doug being old. Okay. I definitely think he knows who Caitlin Clark is.
Yeah. I'm halfway trolling, halfway like slick serious, but all right. Shout out to Doug if you're watching this. There's no ill will.
Screaming fans yelling at you and your teammates and trying to hey, we're gonna beat them. That gets me a different kind of excited than like at home. And obviously it's always great having fans cheer for you, but is there something special about shutting the opponent's fans up, so to speak? I see you smiling, Ryan. I'm guessing there might be something there with that.
Whack.
I do personally like going away rather than playing at home because it's just like fun to touch the crowd and stuff, and then they're all wanting their team to win, but like if you're doing good, then you can look at them and say I don't know, it's just fun.
Man, Ryan Howard sounds so shy.
Look in the crowd.
What would you say?
I said Ryan Howard talks like she's so shy.
Try to just avoid that, but so
I knew Aliyah was gonna say nah, I'm not really into that type of stuff. That's not her personality.
Yeah, me too. I knew that too because I had like I told you earlier, I had watched this earlier. So yeah, when she came, I already knew what her answer was.
Yeah.
I enjoy like home games, just hearing everybody cheer for me. But when people aren't really cheering, I mean, I guess it's just exciting because there's not much they can do.
I would agree. I'm more like a home court person. I think having however many fans you get cheering for you rather than booing you is a little better. But either way, like I don't really mind it. I try to stay pretty focused on.
Nah, Caitlin gonna talk some trash. You can tell by the way she plays. She gonna play that villain role on the road.
And what I
her, Paige, and NaLyssa, all three of them jokers.
I think for me as a competitor, I think having a target on my back and everyone cheering against me, I feel like if you're a hooper, like when somebody's trash talking you, just reach a whole nother potential.
What Trae Young tell y'all, Terrell? I'm sorry for pausing again. What Trae Young tell y'all?
I have no idea.
What Trae Young tell y'all in the Garden?
I know he did this.
You just reach a whole nother level that you tap into. So, I mean, I like obviously everybody cheering for me, but against me, I like that as well. Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the same way. I feel like I perform the best when like the odds are against you, or like when they feel like you're the underdog or something. So those are the best games to me.
I'm guessing all five of you agree that having no fans is not good for anybody. Last year, having no one there, like there's no energy. You have to create your own. Like whether you like being booed or cheered or whatever it may be, having nothing and no energy and no noise. I'm guessing all five of you that was not very fun last year.
Yeah, it was just completely different. Just a different type of atmosphere. So I'm glad to have the fans back.
So let's talk this year for a second. I mean, one of the big changes, obviously, off the court, and I think you five of the most well-known players in women's basketball is the NIL stuff, and name, likeness, and image that you can take advantage of now. And I'm curious, just what's it like for you? I mean, I'm talking to some of your coaches, some of you. Once the season starts, you probably focus just on basketball. But is it nice to know that you can earn money for your name as opposed to your school or whoever else maybe making money off of you? I think, Caitlin, you started a clothing line of your own shirts to sort of get something out there, just that I know of things from that nature. So let's start with you. Is it something neat to be able to use your name and your likeness to
Yeah, I think it's something that we've kind of been fighting for even since like the beginning of last season. And I think everybody knew it was coming, no matter how long it would take. But yeah, I think it's just a right that every student athlete should have. So I'm excited that it's here. It's been really fun to watch every student athlete kind of do something different with it. Everybody has different interests, so it's been cool to see like them go down a path that they're really interested in and make a difference in their community. So I'm excited that there was that change. I think there's a lot of unknown still, so a lot of things to figure out. And as you said, like I think once we get into the season, that's kind of where all our focus is. And obviously you have school on top of that, so it's just another thing to manage.
I think the NIL deal is definitely just something that we needed. I mean, I feel like we just worked.
Does he ask anything of interest in this video?
Not really.
All right, so it's NIL.
Ask Rhyne Howard a question yet? She just look like she down there doing her hair.
She's a number one pick, man. She's a number one pick, and NaLyssa is like, I don't know. I need something juicy, like you know, you got Paige and Aliyah right there. You know what I'm saying?
You said the number one pick, like that means she's the best player on this live.
Well, I mean, she's still the number one pick. I mean, that's something of value, you know. But I'm saying Aliyah and Paige is on here. You know what I'm saying? Like the top two teams in the country. People have been talking about it all off season. Like, you know, how y'all feel about
he
the
he don't ask nothing juicy on, you know, nothing like that.
Yeah,
basically, I mean, he's like the preseason All-American, so he's probably trying to keep it spread out.
Yeah. You got to play it safe. I get it, but it's like, bro, you got Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers right here. You got 3 black players and 2 white players. You could talk about the whole. Paige gave a speech that everybody talked about over the offseason with the, you know, the coverage of white players versus the black players. You got 3 black players right here who can speak for that with Paige on the panel to you know, respond and clarify anything she wants. It's so much, right?
Doesn't Doug represent the AP?
Yeah.
You know good and what the AP is. Not to be article on African American color in mainstream media. AP? Like what? This ain't or yet. Like this is the AP. You getting on Doug like
these questions is just like, bro, like NIL was a question for June. NIL was a question for July, bro. Like we 3 months past that. They done got all their deals, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Work so hard and we do a lot. We go through a lot and we still have to manage school. And so for us to be able to make money off of our names and stuff like that and just represent like where we come from is just, it's just great to finally see happening.
Doug need to call on someone too. Look at Aliyah. Look how uncomfortable she is right now.
I mean, they probably all are uncomfortable because, you know, the last interview with the All-Americans was like this, kind of. It was just, they were kind of, you know, nobody doesn't want to say anything too out of line or anything like that.
They don't want to get in trouble at practice.
Yeah. And I mean, Doug, he's the AP, so he's going to ask the white watered down kind of question. Well, not white watered down kind of question.
Yeah. But I mean, but Doug, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, host the thing. You know, you got 5 people here. See, what you think, Rhyne? You know, don't let it get to 30 seconds to a minute of just awkward silence.
He's not a good interviewer.
Anyone else want to jump in?
I don't know if I'll say that if he's not a good interviewer. I just think it's a
Doug is definitely a legend. Doug is definitely.
I'm talking about for this. I'm talking about for this panel right here.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just think it's an adjustment for everyone on Zoom to know how to do Zoom and to have the personality for. It's like, you know, like someone who can write well, right? But they might not be the best person on camera, TV. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's
I think Doug is more of a writer.
Yeah. So in person, say if this is at a media day at a table, if he's sitting down and he puts a recorder in the middle of the table, he can just look at a player, right, and be like, "All right, you next," and give him that look and say, "You next." On Zoom, if you sit there quiet, these jokers, like Joel said, they trying not to say anything wrong, blah blah blah. They ain't gonna say nothing. NaLyssa ain't said one word. Do we know NaLyssa Smith's name? She ain't even said her name.
Yeah, she mumbles through the whole interview.
You have
she must not have been rocking with Buddy.
Take care of it for you, so you don't have to worry about this, so to speak, as opposed to.
You got Paige Bueckers.
Wait, rewind it like a couple of seconds.
Okay, yeah. The biggest star in college athletics right now. I mean, because who was supposed to be the man in Oklahoma for college football? Spencer Rattler. He got benched. The Bryce boy, Bryce Young from Alabama? Okay, Matt Corral. Okay, Ole Miss. There's no real stars in college football right now. Paige is the biggest star in all of college sports. When's the last time that's happened with a woman?
I mean, she did win an SB.
Never.
As a freshman.
This never happened with a woman. But like, you know what I'm saying? Tap into some of this stuff, man. But like Joel said, it's the AP. You know, he got to play it safe because they do the rankings. You can't burn any bridges or spoil any relationships right here with this interview that's just supposed to be safe. But dang. All right, here we go. Anyways.
You have people take.
Hold on, can you rewind it like a 15 seconds? I didn't hear what he did. He was asking Paige something, but I didn't hear the first part.
Names and stuff like that, and just represent like where we come from. It's just great to finally see happening.
This is awkward.
I just want to jump in. I mean, I don't know, like, and I think Paige, I think you have people take care of it for you, so you don't have to worry about this, so to speak, as opposed to like you.
Why would he say that to her
in front of all of them? And basically, I just don't want my plate to get overfilled. I know we have basketball, we have school. And then with the NIL, there's a whole lot of new stuff that can come at you. So just making sure you have a great circle around you that keeps you humble and keeps you grounded, I think was really important for me.
Wait, Rashad, did you hear what he asked her?
He said you with the agency, right? So like it doesn't go straight to you, it goes through the agency, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, if you sign with an agency, I think that's a different dynamic, you know. Some players just kind of go straight to the brands, and the brands come straight to the players.
I guess it was the way he said it. He was like, yeah, Paige, you got people that handle that for you, right? It's just like, I'm trying to be shady.
Nah. I didn't take it as that.
Because isn't Paige the only one on here signed to an agency?
I don't know, because Aliyah Boston got a couple deals, and like you would think Ryan Howard is a number 1 pick. She might be, because you got to think, like, if Cameron Brink, Haley Van Lith, AZ Fudd, Angel Reese, like there's a lot of players around the country who are signed somewhere. You know what I'm saying? If players of that kind of level are signed, like, all due respect, but if players of kind of like lower levels are signed, then I would think, you know, more than one of the top 5 in America are signed. That's just my
agent.
Yeah, because, you know, like I said, Cameron Brink signed, AZ Fudd signed, Haley Van Lith signed. Who else? Angel Reese. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Angel Reese signed, all due respect to Angel Reese and her career. But
it's going to be interesting how, I think Gino touched on this last season. It's going to be interesting to see the reaction of the players that are signed to the players that aren't signed. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how the players that aren't signed react to the players that are signed, you know?
You mean as teammates? You mean teammates?
Teammates or competitors. It can happen on the same team or competitive opposite teams.
I'm not gonna lie. As competitors, I don't think it'll be any different. Like
yeah,
I'm sure these four, even
teammates, even can get a little dicey amongst teammates
to a certain extent, can't stand Paige just because of all the attention Paige gets. Like, Caitlin is almost.
Why she looking like that?
So she probably like, I signed to an agency too, like, but I don't know.
Wait, you said Aliyah Boston and them can't stand Paige?
Yeah, I'd assume.
I think they're friends.
Yeah, I mean, you could be friends, you could be kind of cool with her, but it's like this, bro. Like, at the end of the day, if you feel like you just as good as her or like close to her level, and then, you know, you ain't getting none of the type of attention she got, and you was number 1 coming out of high school. You were projected to go number 1 in the WNBA draft. You were projected to go number one. You know what I'm saying? All these number 1s. And then this new white girl come in number 1, right? Freshman year, and it's nothing against Paige. You know, like, I love Paige, everything like that. I'm just saying it just, you know, straight up. But if this new white girl comes in freshman year, she gets all this attention, all this, all the awards, all the number 1, you might kind of feel the way.
Well, I think what makes Paige kind of like a supernova is the following that she came into college with too.
Right.
Like, on top of her talent. Like, I feel like if it was just like one or the other, it may have not been as bad, but I think it was the way it was because she was already popular,
Right.
you know, amongst especially amongst the kids, like the younger generation of Instagram and the what's the
TikTok,
the generation behind the millennials. I think Generation X, like
Z.
them,
Z.
they came in like standing Paige. So I mean that plus her talent. I mean, I think somebody in every sport has to be the best player. I mean, that's just how the like leagues work. They want to like have a top player, and I mean, I don't think anybody's better than Paige, you know, and that's the only reason why I don't have a problem with it because I don't feel like anybody.
It's not having a problem with. I'm just saying like they would have a problem with it. Like it's like Zion, right? Zion at Duke. You turn on the TV, you can't get away from Zion. You hear about Zion all day, every day on TV. Like, you know, the people who play in Zion, they like, bro, I work just as hard as Zion. You know what I'm saying? Like, they going at Zion on the court. You know what I'm saying, Terrell?
Right, I feel you.
Same type of resentment. But I think with Paige, I think Aliyah and Caitlin, you know, they played USA with Paige before, so I don't think it's new to them. Like, I think Paige's attention has been kind of coming for a while. So I feel like those players, it's not completely new to them. But, you know, I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying.
Competitiveness, you know? Still some competitiveness, you know?
Because NaLyssa Smith looked like she mad. She looked like she mad. Like,
maybe
look at
there's no
Clark.
animosity between those girls because they feel that Paige is humble about it. You know what I'm saying? If Paige was the kind of maybe stuck her nose up in the air, then it probably would be some animosity.
I really rock with. I feel like Paige has handled this really well, like the entire time, and that says a lot about her upbringing and stuff.
As most UConn legends do. Just saying.
DT kicking the doors, cussing at the
DT's the only one, and y'all saw how I was telling.
But that's the first one I think about.
I was saying about DT and Maya.
I'm like DT.
That's one of the reasons why I put Maya before DT because I felt like Maya's attitude was class personified.
Right.
You know, like
to this day.
If you think about Breanna Stewart, have y'all ever seen Breanna Stewart be like nasty?
Nah.
Like so Stewie was like that too, but DT's a snake, man. Like DT don't give up. She don't care. She don't care. And Paige is humble.
Search and edit it out.
Paige is humble, but on the court, Paige can get a little of that DT cockiness. I think with Paige, I've noticed with her, if you come at her first, then she's gonna react. But you know, if you don't come at her, then she's pretty straight. But if you come at Paige, she gonna turn into DT. She gonna start because her and Dejanay Carrington in that Baylor game were going back and forth.
And I have no problem with people yapping on the court, talking trash on the court, talking smack on the court. I have no problem with that. It's like it's just like a level of it that goes, and you know, when you take it to the reporters and like you get mad at the media and you say that's a stupid question, you know, like that's a whole nother like, come on, bro, like, come on now, like, you know, Paige get beat up and what? She knows she got to speak on that podium every game, whether they win or lose. And she come up same time every time. If she has a great game, won a game winner, you know, I just have to thank my teammates and God, you know, placing me in this position, all the hard work paying off. If they lose, not the result we wanted, but had to thank God and thank my teammates. You know, I let my teammates down tonight. It's the same thing. And that's what the greats do. Kobe Bryant, that's what the greats do. LeBron James, that's what the greats do. You know what I'm saying? Allen Iverson. I was so surprised that Allen Iverson was a great interview because, you know, first thing you think about when you think of Allen Iverson in the media is what? Practice. You're talking about practice. Exactly. Exactly. But that man is so respectful in interviews and gets his full attention and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So those are what the greats do. It goes beyond the court. And you can see it a lot of times. But yeah.
And kudos to Paige because I think Paige is very woke. You know, she's very woke for
but
18, 19-year-old
also
white kid.
Yeah, a credit to her upbringing. You know, I think, you know, she lives in a mixed family, right? Like her
I was about to say her brother I think is biracial, so
exactly.
You know.
Exactly. So it is what it is. Or her mom is black. Someone's black, you know, her.
And that's what we need to make change. You know, that's what we need white people to acknowledge their privilege and, you know, speak on the inequalities that they see as white people. Like that's what we need.
I think you kind of you asking for a little too much now.
No, white people, we definitely need white people as allies. Definitely.
Yeah, that's what we need.
We need white people. I mean, in this past election, I mean, that's what happened. A lot of the millennial white people and the Gen X white people that can vote, you know, they joined forces with African Americans, you know, to say like this was wrong. Like a lot of people think that it was just Black people that got Trump out of the White House, but
it's not enough of us.
It was a lot of white people who
it's like when Obama was elected.
Yeah.
Like if every Black person in the country voted for Obama at the time of 2008, 2012, he wouldn't have got elected. Like it's not enough. Like it's not enough of us.
And half of the battle is just, half of the battle for a lot of white people is just acknowledging that there is inequality that exists. A lot of white people don't want to admit that there is inequality.
Right.
So when you get white people that, are admitting that it's not right.
Stewie too.
Yeah.
You talked about Stewie earlier. Stewie does the same thing.
Yeah. And I can respect, we need white allies who, are woke enough to understand that, yes, I'm white and I have white privilege, and it's not right.
Can we not steer too far off the topic?
Well, I mean, it's kind of to me, it's the thing. It's like the elephant in the room. It's like Paige is obviously kind of on a different level of like just attention. And, like I say, you got these 3 Black women right here that don't get as much attention as her. But they're like, these are the 5 most elite players in the country.
Right. And if you look at their facial expressions, I think it's definitely on topic because I mean.
So and when Doug is constantly following up with, but Paige, and that's the thing, going in, it's a topic. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you don't want to trickle too much into it on the video and say something that you might not want to put out there. Like I get it, Terrell, but. I mean, it's what's going on right now. You just look at everybody's face.
And I'm sure Ryan Howard and NaLyssa Smith, they're aware of, they see what the media is already, they're building Paige into something. And they see that, you know what I'm saying? Like Paige is pretty much around their age. So Paige is going to be around when they go to the WNBA. So this is not just, a year of Paige. They're seeing something being created already that's probably going to be in their face their whole careers.
Sabrina Ionescu.
Yeah.
It just is.
I don't think Paige is going to fizzle like Sabrina, but I'm just saying.
Shout out to Sad, man. Sad, that's still my gal, everything like that. Shoot. What y'all want to do? Play 2 more questions of this? Because if there ain't nothing else, then we can keep it pushing.
I didn't watch it, so I mean, I don't know if it's.
I know he's gonna ask them a few more questions, and then they're gonna get into like a little trivia game. So it's not really too much more that's really gonna be said. But it's whatever. Whatever y'all want to do is cool.
Is there anything that's saying like expectations for the season? Some I don't know. Something.
Nah, he's not gonna ask them that.
Dang,
He don't ask them any. He asked them a few more questions. I can't really remember. I know it's. If I'm correct, I don't think he asked them anything like that. But I know he's going to get into like a little trivia, like a game.
Yeah.
He's going to ask them a few more questions, and then they're going to play like a little trivia game.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the same way. Probably just like
NaLyssa spoke.
You're so shady.
In someone else's hands just so I could just focus on basketball in school because that's the main focus at the end of the day. I mean, it's cool to make money though, don't get me wrong, but like it's cool that they introduced that this year. I'm glad they did that.
Who did Caitlin Clark replace?
Hey, you mentioned your plate being full.
What'd you say?
So who did Caitlin Clark replace?
Oh, Dana Evans.
Good, Rashad.
Oh, was that a? Oh, I didn't know that was a test. I thought you were genuinely asking.
I was.
Oh, no. The way you saying I was just saying that was a trivia question.
Oh, I definitely already knew the answer, but I mean, I was just asking.
Yeah. Nah. We were on the channel when they announced it. But all right, anyways.
Teammate, I believe, is a deal with Chipotle. Is that something that the team benefits from, that you can all get some solid fast food next if you want, so to speak?
No. The plate is definitely full on Chipotle, so.
Another follow-up for Paige Bueckers. But you see, like, it just is what it is. But all right.
Can we stop acting like Paige isn't the draw here? I mean, we see the first name. We see the first name in the title.
What other people do, too.
No, that's great. Another thing, obviously, from last year, this year, there was so much made at the NCAA tournament for all of you with the gender inequalities. I mean, people saw firsthand the men's tournament, the women's tournament.
Well, this is something.
There were just differences. And a report came out, and they're making changes, which hopefully for this year and then beyond, that will help the game of women's basketball. I mean, they already allowing March Madness, which most people didn't even know you couldn't use for women's
this is pretty much the coronavirus question.
Form it to 68 teams instead of 64. There's a chance they're going to start giving money to teams that make the women's tournament like they do on the men's side. I mean, you guys all experienced this last year. What is something you'd like to see be more equitable between the men and women? And NIL is part of that in a sense that men and women both can take advantage of in college. What's something you guys want to see that you think would benefit women's basketball for you and for players to come after you?
I think exposure would be a big start, because it's really about just getting us out there in order to have the quality stuff. Like nobody.
What'd you say?
That's exactly what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
She said it.
Yeah.
It's the men's games are on ESPN and all this and all that, and then our games sometimes get cut off or like other programs will cut it.
Ooh, other programs.
The World Series of poker.
Oh, I thought you said other programs. She said poker.
Yeah, no. She was saying other programs like other like if it's on ESPN, excuse me, and you go to like 10 o'clock and the game goes to like 10:15, they're gonna put on the World Series of Poker on ESPN and cut the game off.
Yeah, and that was beanbag competition. I'm like, what is this?
That, oh, the hacky sack. What's it called? Cornhole. Yeah, they be playing the cornhole championships.
I totally agree. I think in the Kaplan report it talked about how much the women's tournament could really be worth. And it was a surprising number to a lot of people, but I think when women's basketball is given that platform, there's a lot that people don't know, and that they can actually tune in and watch if it's on ESPN or ABC or whatever network. So I was with Corey Close most of the summer with USA Basketball, and she's the president of the WBCA. So it's kind of cool getting her perspective on everything, and obviously she was super involved in that whole Kaplan report.
I didn't know she was the president of the WBCA.
She's trying to make change, but I think some of the
who is
Corey Close.
Oh, Corey Close.
Another UConn.
Okay, yeah, no.
Another coach who has asked Gino to watch UConn's practices. Shout out, Corey Close has done her program well.
Changes that have been made as others. The March Madness branding is something that you really wouldn't think has to be a thing, but it's good that they got that done.
Yeah, I wanted to hop up, just talk on what Rhyne just said. It talked about exposure, because I definitely think that just giving us equal like coverage with our game.
Terrell.
I mean, that's pretty much exactly what we were just talking about.
She said it herself.
I mean, that's not going to happen, Aliyah.
She just said it right there, Terrell.
Right.
Terrell, that's your girl. So
She said equal coverage.
So, what's your comment? What's your response? I want to know. I
want to finish hearing what she got to say first. I want to hear her out first.
Okay.
Games is definitely like the first step, and also Caitlin talked about just March Madness. I feel like that's something that shouldn't have even happened. So just kind of giving us equal respect. I think respect, a focus that that needs to just be there, because if they respect us for what we do, then there would be no question about if our shirts say NCAA tournament or just women's basketball or stuff like that.
She's talking about men's and women's, Rashad.
It has to also play in this.
Like within the women's program.
I think respect is the biggest thing. I mean, the stuff that happened during this.
You're right, Joe.
I thought she was talking about like the other women's.
Yeah.
Talking about the men's.
Yeah.
Tournament last year. If it wasn't all over social media, it never would have got recognized. So just even before any of the disrespect happens, for them to just think about what they're doing and see how the inequalities lie on either side, and to just stop it before it even ends, I think is really huge.
Is he waiting for
I'll throw one more at you from the report. There's talk of trying to do a combo Final Four, and I think 2027 be the first time they could do it. So unfortunately, none of you would be around for that, I don't think, as players in college. But I'm curious. I mean, I'm guessing in high school you might have had some double headers with the men or with your boys team. In college, it's rarer, but there's sometimes that there are men and women play the same day or same night. Are you guys in favor of that? Would you like to see? I mean, it'd be a mecca of basketball. It would be the Final Four in one city the men one night, the women the other night, and just playing one city would host
Oh
everything.
yeah,
Is that something you think?
I like that. I like that idea. What about y'all?
Yeah, I think that'll be. I think that'll
Yeah,
be.
I don't know why they gotta wait till 2027 to do that. They could do that now. Like,
I would think that. I think
what's
that
gonna
also
happen in
helps.
2027? That I mean, just move it to one city now.
It's probably.
I think that helps. I think that helps the. I think that would help the families of the players a lot. You know, as far as those who have to travel, because you know, like one round might be in this city, then the final four might be here. You know what I'm saying? So I feel if it's all held in one city, it could get more exposure because it's all in one place.
I think, like, at the end of the day, like, why are we doing this, right? Like, all three of us are doing this because we love ball. Like Joel's a Lakers fan, Terrell's a Knicks fan, and I like the NBA, obviously, too, if you watch the channel. So it's
And
like –
a Georgia Bulldogs fan, shout out to my dogs. Just dismantled Florida, Alabama. We waiting on y'all in Atlanta. Number one in the AP poll, UGA Bulldogs. Go ahead, Rashad.
But like I'm saying, like, we all like basketball. Like, we like women's basketball because at the end of the day, we just like basketball. So if you get all the basketball junkies coming down for the men's tournament, and, you know, because, like, say if you're just a basketball fan, right, and the men's tournament is going to have – I remember it's been in Final Four has been in Atlanta a couple years. One year they had, like, LL Cool J perform for free in the park. Another year they had, like, Flo Rida, like when Flo Rida was really hot, you know, and he had Blow My Whistle and all that. Like, he performed in the park for free, and they had, like, this whole festival and games and carnivals. I can assure you they probably don't have all that at the women's tournament. So it's like now people don't have to choose between entertainment and the biggest names versus just wanting to watch hoop and the highest level of hoop, you know, that weekend, that week. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's just great for the women's game. Because at the end of the day, this is all just, we like this because we like ball. If you really like ball and you can get a chance to see these folks for yourself in the same city while you're out checking out the other teams, I think it's great for the women's game. And I don't think it's like a handout, you know what I'm saying, a handout or something like that. It's just more convenient for basketball fans. That's it. That's all I have to say. All right. After this, I'm gonna go to the Don thing.
You would enjoy, or is something you wouldn't like? You think maybe that women's basketball might get lost in that, or maybe men's basketball will get lost in that, the way women's basketball has been going lately?
I feel like that'd be cool for us. I mean, like, all of us being together, I feel like it'll be easier for fans to already be there so they could come to our games instead of, like, you know, a game in, like, 2 different spots. It's harder to get to both of the games. So if it was a doubleheader or in the same city or state, I feel like that'd be easier for us, especially exposure too. Like we was talking about, it'll be easier for them to come and watch the games.
And looking at it just this way of, like, if all the games are together, there's like some people obviously disrespect women's basketball and kind of just say that we basically don't, like, no one really watches us. But a lot of these athletes and a lot of the college athletes, NBA players, they watch and support women's basketball. So I feel like if people were at the games and seeing how these athletes were supporting us, it would kind of change their mindset and stuff like that and how they view women's basketball. So I think it would be really good.
Those are all great points, and I think you're right. Why not try it? You have nothing to lose. I mean, give it a shot for a year. If it doesn't work out, try something else the next year. But how great would that be? I mean, there's been a couple times that the same men's and women's team has been going for the national championship. So if it's in the same city, I mean, could you imagine if your fan base had both teams to choose?
It's not going to happen this year, but shout out to Baylor. All right, let's go to the Don thing. Terrell says skip to 10.
How's it going, Don? Thanks for doing this.
How's it going, Don?
Couple 41. Is everybody healthy?
How's it going, Don?
I know she understands.
That's when that 10-minute mark is when she's basically talking about the
because
the narratives in women's basketball.
we always let her know that.
Carolyn and then Corey.
Ooh, yes, for the championship trophy in the bag.
Hey, Don, I want to go back to Aliyah Boston. Can you believe that was not unanimous AP?
Nope. I can't.
Yeah. I mean, how does that happen?
Who wasn't? Pause it.
Aliyah. Oh. Hey, Terrell. Hey, I appreciate this. Hey, my boy. I'm dapping you up.
Hey, what did she say though? I missed it.
She was like, well, were you surprised that Aliyah Boston wasn't unanimous preseason All-American?
Which you talking about? So she wasn't. Oh, was that voting thing that I said the other day about like? I think Paige wasn't Paige. I think Paige was the only one that was unanimous. I don't remember.
I mean, I don't know why. Like, I felt like the team was right. You know, the same team except for Caitlin Clark and for Dana Evans.
Yeah.
But yeah, she said, hold on.
I mean, it doesn't really matter if you're not unanimous if it's the majority.
I mean, how does that happen?
You know how it happens, Carolyn. I mean, listen. Narratives are going to be written and stay with all season long, and it continues until we write our own. Till we write our own. There's no way. There's no way for what she's done for the past 2 years, let alone last year. So whoever are the voters, shame on them.
Okay, so pause this. Can you pause this, please? Okay, this is what I have to say about this. First of all, why does it matter if she's an All-American anyway, if she's unanimous? Because Paige definitely didn't win all of the National Player of the Year awards. So it's like some people just not gonna vote for you. Like it's just, but I mean, if she's an All-American regardless. But I think, I mean, sometimes everybody just doesn't vote for everybody for some reason. You know, like I mean, Paige didn't win the Naismith. NaLyssa Smith did. So it's like, I mean, it happens. I don't know. I just feel like if that's kind of like if they would have left her off the All-American team, I feel like she should mention it. But like she's on there. She didn't get all of the votes, but she's on there. So I don't really feel like that's like, I don't know. I don't feel like that's that big of a deal. But you know that's a player, so I get it. But I just feel like
tell her, Dawn, we gonna write our own motherfucking history this year.
Wait, hold
Excuse
on,
my language. Whoa, I got a little crazy out the mouth right there. I'm sorry.
But you know, like with the elite players and the elite teams, a lot of times to like push themselves to new heights, like they have to find some type of chip on their shoulder, even if they're favorite, even if they're talked about the most. Like South Carolina, even though they're not talked about as much as UConn, they're still talked about like a lot compared to majority of women's basketball programs. And it's like, you know, when you're up there, you kind of have to find something new to like get into the players to like really motivate them to push them. Like,
so you think that's what it was? Because the unanimous thing is not. Well, I'm just like, what?
Just Trey, like, you know, I follow the Hawks closely, and Trae Young does like the same thing, where he like points out small things that someone might have said about the Hawks or his game or how good he is. And it's like, bro, like you have your own signature shoe. Like Quavo's on the commercial, like your shoe sold out in 3 hours. You have 1 million followers on Twitter, Instagram. You got in the All-Star game a couple years ago from the fan vote. Like you're popular. People know who you are. People pay attention to the game.
To Don's credit, I didn't even think about, you know, All-Americans is based off of the position. So she's probably saying, you know, like if they're not voting for Aliyah, who else is better than her at that position? No. So that's probably what she is kind of like alluding to. Like,
right.
You know,
I think so.
That makes sense. But still,
she makes that comment in here because she's going to ask her, is there any other big center in better than her? And she's going to be like, no.
Right.
Emphatically no.
Right.
You'll see. Let it play.
To our game. And I don't know if it's to elevate one over the other, but there's room for unanimous players in our country when it's deemed necessary. And
that was a shot at Paige.
Yeah, I was about to say that. That's a shot at Paige.
But again, like, I don't get it. Paige and Aliyah Boston's talent is on 2 completely different levels, so I don't really understand where that's coming from. But I just don't feel like you should take shots at Paige. Like Paige is good. If Paige went into the draft last year, she would have been the number 1 pick over anybody. If she goes in the same draft as Aliyah Boston, she will go before her. Stop, and Don needs to stop acting. I get that's your player. You're going to take up for your player, but don't take shots at Paige. It's not Paige's fault people voting. You know, people at the end of the day are entitled to their own opinion. You know, like, and if people feel like that.
That's why it all goes back to narratives. Go ahead, Dawn, finish preaching.
But to me, it's not a narrative if it's the truth. Like, it's only a narrative if it's not true. Paige
That's
is
your
the
opinion.
best in
That's your opinion.
basketball. Like, who is better than Paige? Name them. Name the player. And then if you can't name the player, then there is no narrative. That's the truth. Like, the truth is the girl is the best player in basketball. So, and I don't understand. Don's been around women's basketball enough to know that the best player is treated that way. She's been around long enough.
First of all, she never
That's how
said
they
the
treated
girl.
Asia.
First
They
of all,
treated
she
Asia
never.
the same way.
She said she don't know if they trying to elevate one over the other. You don't know if she's talking about a player or school.
Well, Paige
You're
is
just
the
going
only.
by. You're
Paige
going
is
by
the
your
only.
opinion.
I think Paige is the only.
You're
I'm not
going by her
sure.
opinion. Let her talk and let her finish her interview, and then from there you could analyze what she was saying.
But like I was saying, Paige is the only one out of the 5 that was a unanimous selection. So who else is she talking about? That's what I'm saying. She's talking
let her
about Aliyah
finish.
Boston not being picked unanimously, and then she's saying to elevate one over the other. Well, there's only one other player that was picked unanimously. That was Paige. So
Hey, that's maybe
who
that's
else
how
is
she
she talking
feels.
about?
That's been going on. That's been going on. The narrative has been set with UConn before Paige even came. So that's.
But what's the narrative? What's the narrative?
But I don't know. Can we just move on, please, to the next?
But Sabrina Ionescu was the one that the media was highlighting before Paige got to UConn. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, we've seen this before. When Asia was at South Carolina, her junior and senior year, Asia had pretty much already won every National Player of the Year award before anybody else was even, like, considered. Because I remember Gino that season even made a comment in a press conference saying that it doesn't matter how good Lou plays, and Lou came in second in voting to Asia Wilson in that year. She's like, it doesn't matter how good Lou plays, they're going to give it to Asia Wilson. So it's the same thing. And all I'm saying is Don you've been on the end of that before. So now that it's not on your program and it's on somebody else's program, you don't get to speak out on it, because when your program was benefiting from that, from Asia being the focal point, I didn't hear this in your argument. So that's all I'm saying. Keep the same energy. That's all. But go ahead, Rashad.
It's deemed necessary. So it's the same old thing. This is nothing new. So we're recording this. We could probably play it next year and we'll still be saying the same things.
Exactly.
Let's talk about how great a player that she is. And you talked about the transformation of her body. But on the court also, how has she expanded her game?
I mean, she's I mean, she does it all, and she does it all now at a more efficient clip. So with players like that, I think she's embracing playing in a crowd a lot more. I think she's comfortable dribbling up the ball and driving to the basket. I think she's really just has a really good understanding of how to continue to impose her will while sharing the ball, because she's a great passer. She's a great reader of defenses. She's great at understanding when people need shots.
She's talking about Leah Boston.
Call for the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And direct them to a shot. So, I mean, the same way that other people just kind of marvel and talk up other players around the country.
Shot.
That's another one.
Terrell,
Terrell, I'm not even gonna lie to you right now, Terrell. Like,
I can't.
I'm like,
it don't matter. That's how she feel, and she supposed to speak her mind.
Right,
it's
right.
Like how y'all feel about certain things. She feel that they always drumming up shit about other schools when they don't even deserve it. Some of the schools that get their props don't deserve it. Now, I'm not trying to take nothing away from Paige, but just because you're the best, you don't have to be tailored. The season ain't even start yet, and they already giving out accolades to certain players. Like for instance, AZ Fudd. Oh, she's going to be a generator. How do you know she even play a second in the league yet? You don't know if she's going to follow in Paige footsteps.
They called Asia generational before Asia.
Let it play out first.
I don't understand.
Let it play out first, and then from there, then you could give all the accolades you want. That's how I feel about it.
Asia Wilson definitely was deemed a generational talent before she ever played up.
Asia Wilson was not the talk of the league when she came in. She was mentioned, because she was the number one recruit. She was the number one recruit, but she did not get no kind of recognition than any UConn player ever got. So you can stop with that. But anyway, I don't want to keep dragging on with that argument. But you right though, Rashad. She's throwing her shots, and I'm not gonna feel bad. Yeah, throw your shot, throw that, do that. So that way she got to make her own history, like she said. That way, all that noise could be stopped being talked. When you make it happen, they have no choice but to talk about you.
Hold on, Rashad. I had something to say, definitely. Well, first of all, A'ja Wilson definitely was, quote unquote, considered a generational talent coming out of high school. I mean, go back and read.
I said that. I said when she was coming out of high school, but she still did not. That year when she came out, she was number one. She was a number one player, but she still did not get the kind of recognition like a Stewie got or Maya Moore or anybody else.
Because she wasn't as good as Stewie, Maya, and Paige was.
Before Maya Moore was getting that, before they even played, before they even shot the ball.
And so A'ja was
before
too.
A'ja shot the ball, she was not in the spotlight like that. So I'm not going to even try to sit here and compare A'ja to Maya Moore and Diana Taurasi.
I mean, the difference that Don and South Carolina fandom is.
The bottom line is everybody.
Is that the talent isn't the same. That's all I'm saying. I mean, the talent isn't the same. Like, Paige is getting the attention she's getting because her talent is better than everybody else.
Ain't nobody even talking.
Everybody trying to make it into a chemistry crazy. It's not a chemistry equation. If Aliyah Boston was the best in the country, she'd be getting the attention. It's whoever's the best in the country. Like, it just is what it is. Like, I don't know how people are trying to act like we have not seen the same thing in women's.
I mean, that's cool, but I feel like this. I'm not gonna.
South Carolina was a team that
y'all let them speak. Let them talk. Let them talk.
And South Carolina was a team that benefited.
No, I don't want to talk. I'm just gonna be quiet and listen. I'm just gonna be quiet and listen, cause I can't talk. I'm just gonna be quiet and listen.
I was quiet when Terrell spoke, actually. So, I mean, I didn't interrupt him. I let him talk. Like I was saying, my only issue with Don is that, again, you can't cry wolf only when it doesn't apply to you. Like, I remember when A'ja Wilson pretty much already had won certain awards her junior and senior season, pretty much based off of her just being A'ja Wilson. So, I mean, and whether that's wrong or right, that's another argument, but it's happened where your school, like, I feel like Gino can't have it say this in an interview like Don if he's had players that have benefited from this same type of thing before. To me, I think it makes Don look just a little bit hypocritical because she wasn't saying the same thing when A'ja was getting all of the highlights and nobody else in the country was getting highlighted.
Question for you. Was Gino saying this when I guess with Maya and Stewie, as Terrell was saying before, this.
You said, was he saying what Don is saying?
You said it's hypocritical for Dawn Staley to say this after, she was a beneficiary of it with A'ja a couple years ago, right? So A'ja was like 2017, right? So 2016 back, that's Stewie, and then you go a few years beyond that, that's Maya Moore. 2010, 2011. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when Gino was a beneficiary of it then, and then he comes back 2017 and says, A'ja Wilson's going to get it because she's A'ja Wilson. Was Gino a hypocrite when he said it then in 2017?
Well, the way he said it wasn't the same way Don just said hers. Like, Don just said it almost like we need to highlight other players. Gino said it that the award is pretty much already going to go to A'ja. He just said that even no matter how good Lou is playing,
there was no shade. He didn't have any kind of shade behind that when he said it. He didn't
say anything like, they need to highlight other players because, I mean, UConn pretty much gets enough attention. So him saying that, he probably can't say that regardless because UConn already gets enough attention and enough press. But he definitely didn't say it kind of how Don just said it. It definitely was not like that, though. It was like Don literally just, I mean, and again, I go back to, you can't get mad at, like, a lot of what Paige's popularity is because of the fans that she already had before college. And that's nobody's fault. Like she had a whole fan base coming into college. So it's like, y'all forget about that. So it's not just all on the college media that have had to do with boosting this girl up. She already had a fan base coming into college, and you can't get mad at that. I mean, some people, you can't get mad at who people like and who people don't like. It's just how life is. It's like the have and the have-nots. You can't get mad if if you would have, I mean, if you're not a have and you're a have not or whatever. But I just think that as a coach, you shouldn't bring other players into it. Like, I feel like you should just, because the first argument I thought Don was making here was, Aliyah Boston should have been unanimously first, she should have been a first team All-American.
I mean, she is making that. If we could get back to the video.
But now the argument is other players should get the same amount of press as other players. So it's just like, what are we talking about here? Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just interesting, but it's just kind of funny to me. I don't know. What are you looking for, Rashad?
I want to see the interview with Gino from 20 talking about the.
No, it was like on it wasn't like on like a post game. It was actually on like a UConn does like the Gino Auriemma show where they interview him. It was on one of those shows. But I know exactly what clip. Type in the Gino Auriemma show. But I know what clip it was because it was when they were pretty much talking about Lou being National Player of the Year, and he kind of was just like, "It's one of these." It may be that one, 3/9/2017. Probably 2017. But his definitely was not like how Don's was just now, but
I just want to hear it for myself.
UConn's chances in the NCAA tournament.
I asked them that one day. Are we the same?
Ask for the thumbnails. Like, just drag the thumbnails.
To a person there. Like, not even close.
Plus.
Tell me when.
I'm looking.
As it's nearing its end, we'll reflect back on Sanaya Chong's UConn career.
I always thought
it's not this season, so it would be. It's not this season. It's the next season.
Basketball.
Because this is Lou's sophomore season. You're looking for her junior season, so it'll be Gino Auriemma until 2018.
Asia Wilson got drafted 17, didn't she?
So it's one of these.
Am I tripping?
Nah, she got Asia. This is Asia Wilson's senior year right here.
Okay, 18.
Because Asia won. She won the title in 17 as a junior, and then she lost as a senior. She got eliminated by 30 in the Elite Eight.
On the Gino Auriemma show.
What up, Gino?
Welcome in to the Gino Auriemma show. And Gino, as we sit here, we've just come off that game against Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
In the first quarter, your starters went out, but in the second quarter, you almost did like a hockey sub, and that you sent your entire second team out.
Oh no, this one is from January.
You're probably going to be looking for like like a March. Try that March one.
And coach thinks it could all shake out.
Don't ever watch a game and root against the team. Because the minute you do, that team will win, and then they will kick your butt.
That and much more.
I don't know that if somebody keeps flunking a driving test, you just throw them the keys and say, hey, listen, go down to Hartford and bring me back the grinder.
On the Gino Auriemma show.
Keep going.
I just wish there were more times during the first, second, or third quarter when you could have really.
I think that's it. Like, I think
in some of the really games,
or like that where Lou was just shooting and see what that is.
So I would say probably.
She contributes in a lot of different ways too.
Yeah, rewind it some.
But I think the player who's been the most consistent since the beginning of the season has probably been Lou.
Oh, hold on. I got it. Hold on.
I talked to the team a lot this year about
flexing on Lou.
Not good enough individually to be able to beat some of the best teams in the country. That all of our great wins have to come as a team, where some other teams maybe have one player that's the player that's going to win it for you.
Oh, that sounds like it's not shade. It's kind of praise.
You think that was shade?
He talking about other teams. He clearly.
All he said was that. Never mind. I don't know.
It's like praise. It sounds like praise, but it's like he was kind of saying like, Asia's gonna win it for South Carolina. Other teams, one player could win it for them.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. I don't know.
So for us, it's been someone different at different times. Good. Leave passes, we score. The only time we don't score is when we throw the ball away. But I think the player who's been the most consistent since the beginning of the season has probably been Lou. She hasn't had some of the the dips that some of the other players have had. So I would say probably.
She contributes in a lot of different ways
She does.
too.
Yeah, she does. She's able, because she's such a good shooter, that whenever we're struggling with something and we get her open, we kind of settle down. And then she's a really good passer. So when she knows that people are going to come after her, when she catches it, she can find somebody for a layup or find somebody wide open. So when you got someone, and she's big enough that she can see the whole court. Sometimes, it's hard to find one player that has all three of those qualities. And she seems to have those qualities.
Would you be surprised if she gets National Player of the Year? I know there's still a lot to be played here in March.
Surprised?
Yeah.
Terrell.
I have a good memory, don't I, Rashad? I remember everything that I watched.
Well, I want Terrell to turn on his camera. I want to see Terrell's reaction.
He be hating when it's UConn focused.
No, I mean here comes the answer. So Terrell, you and I could be the judges of if Gino's answer versus Don's answer.
I still don't think his is shady because he doesn't say.
To be honest with you, I wasn't. To be honest with you, I had stepped away. That's why my camera's on. I wasn't even watching.
Right. All right. Well, but here's the question right here. So here we go. We about to listen to it.
You got to rewind it just a little bit so you can hear the question.
She seems to have those qualities.
Would you be surprised if she gets National Player of the Year? I know there's still a lot to be played
Would
here
I
in
be
March.
surprised?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd be surprised because, there's this perception out there where you have all the best players. I think sometimes when kids come here, they have to almost understand that you might not get some things that you think you deserve. And the trade-off is, do you want to win an individual award or do you want to win a national championship? Well, ideally, you'd like to do both. And a lot of times, that's what happens here. But sometimes it doesn't. And, I think our players are pretty good with that. I just think every coach is biased. They all think their kid is the best. And that's why the one thing I always tell my players, don't get caught up in awards that people vote on. I can't tell you how many kids on our team have not been voted first team all conference because the rest of the coaches, it's an anti-Connecticut vote, not an anti-kid vote. They know that kid deserves to be on that team.
I'm not gonna lie, you're saying the same stuff Don is saying.
Yeah, he is.
Is it because Don was saying there's a narrative against, there's a narrative pushing UConn, and he's saying there's a narrative against UConn with the voters. So they're saying the same thing. I think at the end of the day.
I think the important thing is everybody's perception of everybody else is always gonna be different. You know what I'm saying? Don's perception of how she views things is different, and the people that are at UConn, they have their perception too. Hold on, I'm trying to change my thumbnail back. I'm sorry.
All right, so I guess to wrap up before Joe gets out, is this commercial of AZ Fudd and Allen Iverson.
So every video ends like this?
No,
Hold on. That's crazy. Allen Iverson, that's wild. It's good to see Allen Iverson back on his feet. It's good to see Soulja Boy back on his feet.
I see you, AZ.
Bow Wow back on his feet. It's good to see some of the older acts. Brandy and those I can't even remember their 4 names, but all 4 of them in the new Brandy show. Everybody. It's nice to see people come back.
Brandy, Eve, Notori. Brandy, Eve, Notori. I don't think the 4th girl is somebody that's known.
Yeah, that's like a singer.
Yeah, I forgot her name, but she's like an actress.
Yeah, but it's always nice to see people come back and get another run, second shot.
What is this a commercial for?
TikTok.
So every video ends like this?
No, you're missing the eyes. He does this. I feel like it's in between those two. It's like a.
How about that?
Oh, they're talking about the dude. you know the dude, Joe?
Yeah, that's on TikTok.
Yeah.
You have the face too.
Is that Chilu?
Yeah.
Bro, you saw they got Chilu in the They got T.
I feel like it's in
Lou.
between those two. Like it's like a.
How about that?
You gotta make the face too.
Ty Lue.
What are you doing?
The thing.
What thing?
Like this. Huh. Oh.
Am I doing this right?
You're not even close.
Hey, whoever thought of that idea to put in Ty Lue in the middle and not get him.
So does is AZ have an endorsement with TikTok?
Yeah, that's a commercial.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest commercial. Shador Sanders on the football side of things, he's got a commercial with Beats. That's pretty big. Oh, Mikey Williams has a commercial with NBA 2K.
He was saying, how do we know that these kids are generational? We don't know, but we're going by what we've gone by in the past with other generational talents, like Maya Moore, like Candace Parker, like Asia Wilson, like Diana Taurasi, like Brianna Stewart, like Paige Bueckers, like these are players that were covered heavily in high school. They were watched heavily by scouts. So these people that call these kids generational talents are not just random people off the side of the street. These are people that know basketball, have been around the game for a long time, and have an eye for calling out talent. Like you said, you saw Maya Moore when she was in high school. There were a lot of people before Maya Moore touched foot on a college campus that was like, Maya Moore is the best high school basketball player that they've ever seen.
Boys or girls.
So people take that and they say, okay, well, if this kid continues to get better, then this is what that they can be. And that's all it is. Like sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but for the majority of generational talents that have been kind of deemed generational throughout women's college basketball, they've pretty much been kind of spot on for the most part. So it's kind of like, I think Terrell, I just think, it's funny when teams don't get certain players, it's all of a sudden it's like, well, how do we know she's generational? The same way you knew she was generational when your school was trying to recruit her. Like, you really think Dawn Staley didn't try to recruit Paige? And if she didn't try to recruit Paige at all, that means she already knew Paige was going to Connecticut and just didn't want to waste her time. So either they already knew Paige was going to commit to UConn or she was recruited by them too. So it's like, it just kind of baffles me when certain coaches kind of like act brand new, like you knew how good this girl was when you were trying to recruit her to your program. Like, come on, guys. Like, let's not play. Like, I can understand if it was another player, but come on, we're talking about Paige, man. Come on.
Well,
like,
hold on.
I mean, you watch Paige on that court, she sticks out. And I mean, like I told you last season before she even played, I said, I don't like giving players, especially coming into UConn, too much credit before they've done anything. But even before we played top competition, Paige sticks out. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just sticks out the way she plays. I don't know what it is about her, but she stands out. It's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it becomes easier.
It's just what it is. She stands out the way she plays.
She plays at a different pace, at a different speed than everybody else on the court. She's different. She's different. Like y'all seen the channel. Like, if y'all go back a few months, like, or last year, at this point, I've reacted to pretty much every single one of her games her freshman year. So you see, literally, it's a reason why I kept going back and kept watching. This is something there. Like with Caitlin Clark, there's a reason why I kept going back to watch. Like, Caitlin Clark just plays an exciting brand of basketball, but with Paige, she just moves at a different. She's playing a different game out there.
And I don't like that,
chess and everybody else is playing checkers. Go ahead.
And I just don't like that they're already creating narratives that Paige is getting too much attention. And like, it's one thing for the players to think that way because they're kids at the end of the day. They're children. I mean, they're young adults. They're not children, they're young adults. But, if there's some envy and jealousy amongst them, I can understand that. That we're talking about 20, 21-year-old, 22-year-old, 19-year-old kids. But grown people, it's like, come on, like, I just want.
Well, Joel, to combat that, to give the other side, it is like a thing of, like, if you are a grown person, right, who's a fan of women's basketball, and all the struggles and hurdles women's basketball is going through, but you see someone like a Sabrina Ionescu get her attention, and then they kind of just hand down the baton to Paige. It's like, well, dang, like, these other girls are putting in work too, and like, what I'm saying, especially when it's always kind of like it seems to be a pattern of like it's this white girl that's getting pushed, you know, and that isn't the truth. It always hasn't been the white girl getting pushed.
Do you think it would be as big of a problem if Paige was a black girl?
Nah.
I don't think so either.
Especially in this climate.
I don't think so either.
Like with the age of social justice and, you know, the woke era, it definitely wouldn't be a problem if this was Maya Moore, it wasn't that big a problem when it was, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like when it was Maya, it was like nobody really had nothing to say because
when it was Candace.
Yeah.
Oh, like it's like at the end of the day,
when it was Stewie and when it was Paige, it's a problem.
We gotta see. I don't think it was necessarily even that big of an issue with Stewie in college.
I don't think so either because Stewie wasn't.
I don't think it's.
Stewie was more low.
The following that Paige had with social media going into it.
But Rashad, that's what I'm saying. Like these coaches, like I think they're giving media a little bit too much credit and not taking into consideration just how popular Paige is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like she's just a popular person, you know, like for whatever reason, whether or not she built her following when she was in high school, whatever, you know, like you said, like this is a little bit different than Stewie. And I think the reason why is because of that social media component that's added to it. So I think it makes it seem like it's so much. But imagine if Paige didn't have that social media, I don't think it would be as overwhelming. But I mean, get used to it because it's probably only going to get worse as Paige gets closer and closer to the draft. So I mean, if it's already bothering coaches and it's already bothering teams, you know, and my thing about like Don Staley making those comments, you know, like I feel like Don Staley actually coached Paige on a youth Olympic team or something like that. Like, you know her personality. And even if you didn't end up recruiting Paige, you know that Paige is one of those she's a good kid, you know, she's not a cocky kid.
Well, you can tell from her interviews. Yeah.
So to me, it's like, you know, if she was DT, then it's like, girl, I mean, say what you want to say. I can't even say nothing, but like, come on, Paige is a good kid, man. Like we can't get mad at her because you can't make people like people. That's not how the world works.
And then as someone like a Paige can't dim her light just because her light makes other people uncomfortable. And that's just a life lesson to everybody if you're out there watching. You can't turn yourself down because you being go ahead, Joel.
And I'm gonna give a little reality check to some people out there that are there's people out there that think, you know, don't think Paige's talent is like Paige is generational talent. If any WNBA scout could get Paige now, they'd get her now. Like it wouldn't even necessarily be because of how good she is right now. It would be about how good she can become. And that's what people aren't realizing. They're not looking at Paige's potential. Like people who talk about Paige being such a iconic player, they're looking at what she can become more so than what she's doing now. Yeah, what she's doing now is pretty impressive. But people are looking at what she's doing now and saying, man, if she continues on the path she's going, imagine how good she's going to be when she finally does get to WNBA, when she finally does, you know, get to that, you know, next level. And I just think that, you know, when I look at like Aliyah Boston, I think Aliyah Boston is a great player. But would Aliyah Boston be a first-team All-American at the center position if Brittany Griner, Tina Charles, or Sylvia Fowles was playing? I don't think so. I don't think Boston is better than Sylvia Fowles was at LSU when she was in college. I don't think she's better than Tina Charles at UConn when Tina Charles was at in college. And I definitely don't think she's better than Brittany Griner when Brittany Griner was at Baylor. So people need to put some things into perspective and realize that sometimes players are good because of there's nobody really else in the country physically that really can match up with them.
Right, but I mean, okay, but yes, but Aliyah Boston's still top 3, like hands down.
But no, all of the centers that I just named, are you taking Boston over? Because I'm sure you're taking Paige, Rashad. You taking Paige over Sue Bird because we already know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's what I'm saying.
Everybody on this channel knows that. But look, okay, but look.
What we talking about? You taking Paige over
Maya NDT.
You said who?
Maya NDT.
You said Maya NDT what?
Yeah. if those are the two guards on All-American, are you taking one of them off to put on Paige?
No. Because and the reason why is because I've already seen too much of. I haven't seen enough of Paige. I've seen
Right.
too much of Maya and DT in college.
However
I haven't
old
seen
she
enough
is.
of Paige yet, so I can't put her before. But I'm
How
definitely
old is
taking,
Paige? 19 or 20? She
I
just
think
had a birthday.
I think she's 20, but I'm definitely taking Paige over Anescu. I'm definitely taking Paige over Skylar Diggins. I'm taking Paige over Chelsea Gray. I'm taking Paige over Sue Bird. Like, so if you can't say that you would take Aliyah Boston over Griner, Fowles, or Tina Charles, then how good really is she?
Those are 3 top 25 players of all time, Joe.
I was naming
Like,
some
you
top players
saying
too.
it like they just like normal centers, bro.
But I didn't name no scrubs on the other side when picking with Pat. I didn't name no scrubs. I named 2 Olympians.
Who? You said Sue?
I said Gray and Diggins. I said Anescu, Kelsey Plum. I'm trying to name guards like
25.
I'm just trying to name guards that are, that were like
big
pretty
time.
prominent in college
Big
coming
time,
out.
yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Those are pretty much the big ones in the past decade.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to think of like guards. Like I know we're missing some.
In the
But I
past
mean,
decade, that was it. Like it was Kelsey.
that's what I'm saying. Most of the guards that I'm thinking of.
Jackie Young was kind of like a surprise. She went number 1. I'm not gonna lie.
And I'm taking Paige over Jackie Young. So it's just like, I mean, when I look at Aliyah Boston, I'm just interested to see what Aliyah Boston is going to do when she gets to WNBA, because she's going to be going up against players that are just as strong as her and a little bit longer than her. And I don't really think she's had to face that as much in college, But I don't think Aliyah Boston is not good. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, before you guys, clamor that the attention should be the same, compare the talent. The talent isn't the same. So, and I just believe that when it comes to sports and it comes to media, the most talented players are usually the ones that are the most highlighted. And I don't think it's going to be any different for women's college basketball.
A'ja Wilson's story when she chose South Carolina. A'ja, this is written by Walter Villa. I hope he's doing well in life right now. You never know these days when like it's so many years ago. But A'ja Wilson looked right at home in the national spotlight Wednesday. And that's exactly where she'll stay. Wilson, the number 1 prospect in the ESPNW Hoop Girls Top 100, announced her long-awaited college decision, choosing to stay home in Columbia and play at South Carolina. In front of a pumped-up crowd in our high school gym, the versatile 6'5" forward from Columbia's Heathwood Hall made her announcement live on ESPNU. She was the lone undeclared top 100 prospect heading into the NCAA's regular signing period. I will be attending the University of South Carolina, put the hat on, said Wilson, who chose South Carolina over Connecticut, North Carolina, and Tennessee. There's really just no place like home. At South Carolina, Wilson joins a recruiting class that includes fellow McDonald's All-Americans, Jatari White, Bianca Cuevas, as well as Kadra. Wait, hold on now. Give me right on some of these names, Joe.
Bianca Cuevas. I know Bianca's is Bianca Cuevas.
Bianca Cuevas, Kadra Duckett, and Donia Cleaney. Donia Cleaney. That's it. Donia. I'm so sorry. Because I got a cousin who named Donia. I got a cousin.
I think it's Denija.
No, it's no G. There's no G.
Okay.
But I have a cousin literally whose name is Donia. So.
Or is it Dania?
Donia Cleaney. Kleiny,
yeah, I think it's Dania Kleiny.
The 17-year-old Wilson, she was a baby, becomes the gem of Don Staley's class. She averaged 35 points, 15 rebounds, 5. Oh my gosh.
That's ridiculous.
And led him to a state title. Her three-pointer to tie the game at the end of regulation at the state championship game. I mean, hey, skills have not gone without notice. She was named National Basketball Player of the Year through Parade Magazine and Women's Basketball College Coaches Association. She won Naismith Player of the Year and South Carolina Gatorade Player of the Year honors. I'm overjoyed for A'ja and her family joining the Gamecock family. Excuse me, Staley said on the team site. She represents South Carolina on so many levels. She's 6'5", but handles like a guard. If you put someone smaller than her, she knows how to post up. If you put someone bigger, she will face up and take them to the basket. She's a tough matchup. The bins are the size of a recliner. All right, hold on. Let me see. I mean, pretty high praise. Just kind of scrolling through. You don't see the world. Oh, well, you see down here, she's a superstar without a superstar attitude. She's very coachable. I guess that's like kind of.
Oh, I mean, is it fair to say that they were already calling her a superstar before she got to college?
But that's it. That's all we have for tonight.
I'm problematic.
That's all what we have. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all get mad at Rashad because Rashad's the one that actually just posted the receipt. That.
Oh well, no, I literally wanted when you brought up the Geno thing, I wanted to see the Geno clip.
But I can respect
you brought up the Asia, I wanted to look up the Asia what they were saying about Asia when she was coming out. That's just me, just human curiosity. You know what I'm saying? So
and because I've watched a lot of women's college basketball, I remember these things like that Geno clip. I remembered exactly when I watched it. Right. So it's like when Don says certain things like that. I immediately told you to pause because the first thing that came in my mind was like, hold on now, because y'all got the same attention with Asia. It's the same thing now. Obviously, it's probably not a problem with Asia because Asia is an African American female, and we already know about the race wars that have existed in this country.
But my perspective of after seeing both of it. I think them jokers saying the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
I thought Geno's was a little bit, I don't know.
Geno's was like the entire world is against us at UConn. And then like Don's was the entire world is going for UConn.
I feel like Don was more specifically talking about Paige as opposed to like, I feel like Geno, like, and that wasn't, I need to send you the other clip because that wasn't the clip when he said, he actually did mention that Asia was going to win the award. Like there's another clip where he said that it's going to Asia. I need to find that, but I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I feel like Paige. Whoever's the best in the sport is going to be highlighted the most, no matter what school they go to. I remember when Sabrina Ionescu was a senior at Oregon, I used to think that she was getting so much attention with the Sabrina commercials. Every 2 seconds on ESPN, Sabrina. So it's just, it's what they have to do for marketing to grow the game, and people kind of have to understand that. And at the end of the day, you don't have to like Paige, you don't have to think she's talented, but what you have to admit is that she is very marketable. And whether that's because of the color of her skin or what, that's not for us to decide why that is. But I feel like if the only way we can help it not be that way is if we kind of stop, because I can say that Don Staley is creating a narrative of Paige getting more media attention. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, it's like why even create that going into the season? Why start that narrative up? But
I think what we have to do as the fans and as the community is, as opposed to lifting up anti someone, I think we need to push pro someone else. Yeah. So I think we need to, instead of saying, oh, no Paige, let's talk about Rhyne Howard and Aliyah Boston instead. Why not we just treat Rhyne Howard and Aliyah Boston, the same way we treat, what I'm saying? If you want to push that player, push that player. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how I feel about it, because I feel like, and this goes under kind of the Caitlin thing too. I think Caitlin plays an exciting brand of basketball. Like Zaya is kind of like the closest thing to it in college basketball that plays exciting like that on the offensive end. You know what I'm saying? Like in Crystal Dangerfield was like that too when she was in college, where they just got handles and they just play exciting basketball. You know what I'm saying? Kind of remind you of like a dude playing street ball, Cappy Pondexter. And
I feel like also, just to keep it real, it does absolutely have something to do with UConn and what UConn has done over the course of their history. Because what you have to understand is UConn has accomplished so much on almost every level of the sport that, players that commit to UConn and come to UConn, stories are written about how they measure up to the people that accomplished stuff at UConn in the past.
But folks also hating on, because the UConn Iowa game, right? Both of them were kind of struggling, right?
Yeah.
And it seemed like some folks were just having a field day with it. Like they were just preying on some 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds to fail. And it's like, dog, you know what I'm saying? Like, stop being weird. Like that was honestly my response to it was stop being so weird trying to root, because they were rooting against Caitlin too. And it was like, and for the sake of, promoting the black players. And it's like, bro, I feel like you really don't have to tear down the white players who are exciting to watch and are great players as well for the sake of the black players. You know what I'm saying? Just lift up the black players. Like we could be like, yo, Kristen Williams killed Williams killed it this game. We could be like, yo, Crystal Dangerfield is cold. We could be like, Zaya Cook, Ryan Howard, #1 pick for a reason. NaLyssa Smith ate it up. Leah Boston, great game. We can do that without trying to tear down the white players.
But what's crazy, Rashad, we act like there are a lot of NBA players that think that LeBron gets way too much attention and has gotten way too much attention over his career. So it's the same thing in every sport. So that's what I'm saying with Don's response. It's like, come on, Don, you're a veteran in sports. You know how it works. Like, whatever sport it is, whoever that top player is, that's who's going to get the most attention. It's tons of players. Yes, there are a lot of players that are highlighted in the NBA, but you're going to sit here and tell me that we have not seen players over the course of LeBron's career jealous of the attention that he gets? Like we've seen that so many times. So it's not going to be any different in women's college basketball.
Golfers with Tiger Woods.
Same thing. Like, I mean, same thing. So it's like, why is women's basketball going to be any different? It's not going to be any different. The top players are going to get the most attention. This is what it is. And if you don't like it, don't watch sports.
Well, Joe, we'll get you out of here. It's a little bit after 9:15 here on the East Coast. So
in 3 hours.
Well, by the time this is out, it'll be past your birthday or on your birthday. So I guess just, where can people find you on social media, everything like that? I don't really do that with you anymore, like lately. So let me give you a chance for the new people, the new viewers, where they can find you.
My Twitter is BizerkJ, BizerkJ. And my Instagram is the same.
And Terrell, I don't know about his Instagram. I think he's on Instagram, but Terrell he says he's gonna start up his YouTube channel. He's just kind of waiting for the kicker to really get going. But I'll support Terrell once he drops that. Like I said, road to 2K subs. Everybody thank Angel in the comments. When we get to 2K, we handing out the hats, and or I gotta figure out something. But right now the plan is to hand away hats, to give out a hat for 2K subs.
I want a hat. Can I get a hat? Oh, shout out to everybody going to the Georgia Tech game. I just got my ticket today, so I'll be up in that thing.
Georgia Tech UConn for those who might not have known. But yeah, that is what it is. Everybody take care. Wash your hands, stay 6 feet, stay safe, wear your mask, all that good stuff. And